Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our combatants for this fight. First, fighting out of the red corner to my right. Standing in at 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing in an even 154 pounds, with a record of 5 wins against just 1 defeat. Fighting out of Caldwell, Idaho, representing Team No Excuse, I give you Michael Garcia. His opponent across the ring to my left, fighting out of the blue corner. Standing in at 5 feet 8 inches tall, he also weighs in at 154 pounds with a record of 1 win against 1 defeat. From Boise, Idaho, representing SBG Combat Fitness, I give you Robert Peel. Our referee in charge of the action when it begins is Rulin Day.
The lightweight division of Front Street Fights definitely dominating this card as we get ready for this lightweight bout between Michael Garcia and Robert Peel, and we are underway.
Ooh, nice double left.
2 hard shots right there by Chase, or excuse me, I'm going to say Chase Peel. The Peel brothers is confusing.
Just say
It's a
Peel.
tongue twister. Peel, there you go.
Yeah.
Garcia.
Garcia needs to drive his hips forward. By staying tentative with his hips back, you don't get as much power. He needs to more stuff him. Yeah, come forward. And
Inside knee kick there by Garcia, trying to loosen up that leg.
See, and
Peel
Garcia's
returns in
open.
favor.
Garcia's open for those knees because his torso's way back there. If he stepped inside of Peel's legs there, he would control his hips a lot better. So put his right leg inside the crotch there and open Peel's legs up and stuff him with his hips.
This one so far tends to be the battle of the knees as we are just 50 seconds into round number 1. Both fighting for control, both doing a good job. Another hard left there by Michael Garcia.
And that was the same thing that we saw from Crawford, so they must be training that a lot at their gym.
Good slam by Garcia.
They must be training, so on every kind of break of action where they kind of disengage, they're throwing 1-2s, they're throwing punches, and that's a really, really good, practice to implement.
One thing No Excuse MMA known for, striking. Very good striking gym.
See, now you see Garcia's hips are more forward, and it's better for him. Now he needs to bring his head up. There you go.
Another hard slam by Michael Garcia.
And Garcia's keeping Peel's head in the fence there, and that's what takes away Peel's hips and takes away his jiu-jitsu. If Garcia did more wrist control, then Peel wouldn't be able to stand up like that.
Mike doing a very good job right now of keeping Robert pressed against that cage, forcing him to maybe exert more energy, if you will. You can hear Michael Garcia's corner with those left shots. He's got quite a few of them in these first 2 minutes.
Like I said before, he just needs to, now his hips are coming forward. See, he needs to have that more than sticking his hips back, because he's taking knees in the breadbasket when his hips are way back.
Michael Garcia relentless in not letting Robert Peel off that cage, delivering a few knees, 2 slams, and several hard left hands in these first 2.5 minutes. And here comes slam number 3 to a point.
See, if he controlled the wrist more than the hips, Peel wouldn't be able to stand.
There it is, another hard slam by Michael Garcia as we enter the final 20 seconds of round number 1 between these two.
Peel's head bounced off the canvas and didn't hurt him, but that's kind of.
It'll wake you up.
Yes, absolutely. This corner's calling for Garcia to put Peel's head in the cage, which is standard practice if you know anything about MMA. So it's good. He's getting good coaching.
That's why you're here, Mitch.
There you go.
There we are, round number 1. We have reached the end between Michael Garcia and Robert Peel, which can only be described as pretty much complete domination by Michael Garcia.
Sometimes these 3-minute rounds, they seem like an eternity for the guys, and sometimes you say, oh man, it's over. You want it to go longer, and that one I wanted to be a 5-minute round.
As we take a look at the Project Filter replay brought to you by Project Filter, you decide when. We'll show you how the story of round number 1, the takedowns of Michael Garcia, the 2 hard slams. The good thing he did there is as soon as he got the slam, he stayed with it, kept control of Robert Peel in that fight, able to delivering a lot of course, the inside knees, and the other thing besides the 2 slams, a good half dozen, if not more, stiff left shots.
Absolutely. And what did I say at the very beginning? Implement a game plan. So we will really see if this game plan is implemented, if it's more of the same, and that's what you want to see for him to take that next, him meaning Garcia, to take that big jump and get to the pro level is, okay, that worked for you, don't deviate, keep on with the same path.
All right, we are going to be setting for round number 2, a little cage maintenance, as you may have saw in that last round. The cage pad wiggling a little bit loose. They're going to take care of that. Obviously, number 1 rule here, number 1 thing we look out for here is the safety of the fighters. The cage crew doing a great job securing that. We appear to be set, and we are good to go. How will Robert Peel react? We are about ready to find out right now.
Well, this is the same thing. I mean, you have a clash of the same gyms as we saw in Crawford Peel, the first one, and then now we have Garcia Peel.
Good combination attempt there by Michael Garcia.
Garcia's gym is just always pushing the fighters back, just like that. So Peel doesn't have anywhere to escape. And this is like I said before, implementing this game plan and taking away the kicks and striking.
Yet another slam by Michael Garcia.
This is what you want to see. Let's just watch him in all its majesty.
All day. There you go, big hit. Right there.
The story continues. The fist of Michael Garcia able to land a few rights, going low, going high. Again, drives him back into the cage, keeps complete control, making Robert work all for this one so far.
This is where he needs to do wrist control. This is where Peel keeps standing up, and he needs to control the wrist, not the hips. See right here? He needs to control the wrist and pull it towards him, and the legs. See, so if you're able to put 3 points of contact on the mat, you can stand up. And so that's why Peel keeps standing up, and Garcia has to, do the hard work to put him back down again.
Michael Garcia looking cool, calm, and collecting, going for his 4th slam of this fight. It seems the second that Robert Peel gets up, stands up, Michael Garcia gets him back down on the ground.
Isn't it interesting how No Excuse is known as a striking predominant school, but all night so far with Crawford and Garcia, their takedowns are better, their scramblings are better, and their control against the cage is better.
There's slam number 5 of the night as his crowd goes, or his corner that is, goes crazy there as we come down to the final minute 15 of round number 2.
This is actually looks like Randy Couture. This is Randy Couture.
He's got that wrist control. 4 or 5 rights right in a row there.
Who's the natural, he never wanted to pass half guard. He wanted to stay in half guard, which is where Garcia is, so he could kind of post against the guy and land this damaging shots. And this is a great strategy. You saw Brock Lesnar do this type of strategy. This is a really good thing. Why pass?
2 hard body shots right there.
And so now is where we need wrist control. That far wrist is where he needs to do wrist control.
35 seconds in round number 2, which has been another repeat for Michael Garcia.
I'm actually really enjoying this fight.
It has been a great fight so far.
Yeah.
Even given the domination we've seen so far from Michael Garcia, Robert Peel not giving in and not letting those strikes and slams get to him.
There you go. Now Garcia's hips are in. This is a position I was calling for. See how his leg is inside his legs? That's what you need. And now he's not taking knees to the breadbasket anymore. This is the exact position that he needs to be in when he's controlling. His hips forward, not backwards.
And we've gone round number 2 in what has been, Mitch, as you described it, a great fight so far.
Yeah. And this is exactly what I was looking forward to, is hoping that Garcia would do a game plan.
As we go to the Project Filter replay, brought to you by Project Filter, you decide when. It will show you how. The story continues. The slams of Michael Garcia, the second that Robert Peel gets to his feet, Michael Garcia flips that back, throws him down on the cage, and continues to implement his game plan. We've gone through 2 rounds. What does Robert Peel have to do, knowing he's down at this point? He's got 1 round to finish him.
So he needs to keep his back off the cage. His back needs to be off of the cage, which means he's not getting marched down. So that way what happens is when Garcia charges, there's nowhere to run. So Peel needs to have a lot of side-to-side movement, a lot of circling in, circling out, use his kicks to keep the range. That's his only chance for winning, other than maybe a flash knockout or a good submission.
And, of course, we are all over social media tonight. Front Street Fights on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, you are watching the live stream on YouTube. We'll get into that more in just a minute, but we are on our way from round number 3. Michael Garcia, he's got to stick to the same thing. What does Robert Peel have to do right now?
Yep, he needs to work the distance, keep this good grappler
Good
off of him,
underhand
just like
left
that.
there.
So see, that's exactly what happens, and that's going to be the problem for him for this whole fight is getting marched down and not circling out when he should have.
Good left right there by Michael Garcia.
Once again, notice how on the break they just start throwing their hands. That is, I think, becoming a signature of this gym of No Excuses. They're just throwing those 1-2s, 1-2s off of every single break. Here's another
Slam number 6 by Michael Garcia. Again, as soon as Robert Peel starts getting an advantage, Michael Garcia gets him back down to the
He's
ground.
trying to triangle, but it's going to be really hard for him to pull that off. There you go. His corner's onto it.
Of course, the triangle worked out quite well for his brother Chase just a few minutes ago.
Peel's doing a good job of kind of getting his hips side to side to try to create angles with his jiu-jitsu, but he needs to get back up. He needs to stand up.
3 lefts, 1 right, the lefts and the fists that keep coming right now. Michael Garcia relentless in this fight with those fists.
Peel needs to stand up like he's been doing all night. Not go for these Kimuras, especially when it's sweaty. So Garcia needs to go to the left. He needs to connect his arms and not punch, just to respect Peel's Kimura. So he needs to try to interlock his hands behind the back of Peel, so then he can't pop his hands out. And for Peel to get that Kimura to work, he would have to hip out to his left, and it's really hard to do that with just on your back. He needs to hip out to his right.
Oh, he's almost got that Kimura in. If he can get that arm up just a little bit more, Michael Garcia could be in trouble in this one as we enter the final 55 seconds.
Garcia just needs to keep his base, keep his balance, but lay on that arm.
He's got to lay on that arm. Do not let Robert get that up. That gets above the leg. Michael Garcia is going to be in some serious trouble.
That's exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of this round. The only way he can win, Peel can win at this point, is to just get a sub. So I think he's putting all his eggs in this basket just because it's like, all right.
And Michael Garcia doing a good job defending that Kimura, as you alluded to, interlocking his hands under Robert Peel. So Robert's got to do all he can in this final 20 seconds. He gets out of it, and here come the fists once more from Michael Garcia. He has not given this one up.
Watch for another slam.
That'd have been my guess.
Yeah.
Final 10 seconds. Our first fight could go the distance. Slam number 7 of the night by Michael Garcia, but he gets in that guillotine. Both of them holding on dear life, and we have gone the distance. This one goes to the judges' scorecards. As you can see, the appreciation by both fighters, and one can only assume by the celebration going on in the ring, this one goes the way of Michael Garcia.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see this one coming.
As we take a look at the Project Filter replay, brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how. Mitch, I'm going to give you a guess as to what we're going to see right now. The slam to start the round, slam number 6, and of course, slam number 7 to end the round. That really was the story of the night. Michael Garcia implementing his game plan, those slams getting him back down the ground, followed by those fists, and of course, a late attempt at the Kimura by Robert Peel. And as much as we have talked about Michael Garcia's dominance in this fight, you have got to talk about the sustainability of Robert Peel. He never felt like he was out of the fight, and almost, as you saw, had the finish at the end there.
Yeah, you know, Peel's got all the right tools to succeed. He just didn't have the right game plan. You know, like I was saying before, his back was against the cage way too many times, and he should have spent all of his energy to circle out and not get marched down. And, you know, and then what happens is it goes into Garcia's territory, and that's where he's better.
I'll tell you, 2 back-to-back fights for No Excuse MMA out in Caldwell. First one a loss, this one expected to be a win. You gotta give compliments to them and props to them for how good both of their fighters look tonight. In the 2 years that we've been doing Front Street fights, you've got to say these are the best that their fighters have looked in the last 2 years.
I would totally agree. And, you know, Front Street Fights doesn't put on, you know, they evenly match people. So the Peels are really, really good. And, you know, but the No Excuse Gym, they just seem to come out with a little bit better kind of well-roundedness. And a little less wait and see and a little bit more action, and that's kind of what you want, is you want that signature from the gym.
And a compliment to both of the Peel brothers. It has been a while since they've both been inside the cage. Both put on great performances tonight. We're going to go inside the cage and make this one official with Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will go to the judges' scorecards, where all three judges are in agreement. We have a unanimous decision. Improving his record to 6 wins against just 1 defeat, fighting out of the red corner, Michael Garcia!